So like with games like Fallen Order, like I'm willing to bet just a lot of money that I don't have that at EA there was crunch.
Yeah.
And they put it out when they put it out to coincide with the movie.
Absolutely, yeah.
So and the game is a buggy mess. Like it's really fun, but it's also like every time I boot it up, there's at least one thing that I'm noticing that's
see, I keep seeing that in like every review I've seen talks about like it's good, but it's so buggy, it's a problem.
It's
like it's not that I never had any bugs in it, like I did, but I have just not had that experience at all
like,
that everyone else is talking about. Like maybe I just got lucky or something, but like I really like there were a few issues like that, but nothing that really like broke any situations for me.
So I'm playing on the Pro. And they have the like performance mode and the like the just make it look prettier mode. I'm playing on the make it look prettier mode, so that might be why. But I've heard that if you switch it over, that still doesn't help. Like the game is fucking gorgeous, but it's also like I'll be just like the shine on his fucking hair is incredible, but also why is his poncho freaking out off to the side? And like I've missed, like I'm not. As much as I don't want to be the like, well, the game made me die this time. Like there were several times where I'll go for a jump and then I just like I see, like I'm not wrong. I didn't miss the fucking jump, but I just fall, and then I have to either climb my way back up and just, it's been nothing to completely ruin the experience, but it has been like so consistent that I'm just like, if I do have a life where there haven't been any bugs, I'm just like, oh shit, okay. Like I notice when there are no bugs. Like it's like that.
I guess I just got really lucky then. Like I can't deny anyone else's experience with it. Like clearly that is an issue a lot of people are having. I just fully haven't had it at all.
I mean, again, it's nothing to.
Yeah.
It's just weird that like because I do think the game is good, but I'm also like nothing that it does well, it does perfectly. Like, the game is pretty, but it's buggy. The game is fun, but it's, like, not at all original. And if you compare it to... So, the reason I kind of dropped off, other than switching to The Witcher, is it, like, made me want to play Bloodborne again. Or play through Bloodborne, because I've been trying to play that game for I don't know how long, and I just will get frustrated and stuck, whatever. But, like, just the immediate difference of the responsiveness in the combat and the, like... the weight of the attacks and like and I know that we're like using a lightsaber and it's supposed to feel light and we're supposed to be like agile and stuff like that with it, but then comparing it to like Sekiro from earlier last year, like the thing with Sekiro is like you have to stay in the clinch or whatever, and I feel like with Fallen Order it's encouraging, like once I realized like, oh wait, I need to be using my force powers like at all times, the game became like so much like the I'm not going to say the challenge wasn't there, but like it was night and day of just like, okay, I'm just going to run up these stairs, force push all of you. And maybe it has to do with like the grinding that I like did a little bit. Like I didn't farm, but like after the toad guy on after
Avocado,
yeah, like after I killed him the first time, I was just like, okay, let's just keep doing this for a bit until I feel comfortable.
What'd you do?
Nothing. Something from the outside. The intruders.
You just walk out, and Cal Kestis is holding a boombox over his head. Just come back to me, Bo. Finish me.
Like that. The reason I want to beat the game is the story. I like Cal. I like Grease. I like Seer. I like her character dynamics and her idea. The fact that I can't fully trust her right now, and like, please don't say anything because you beat the game. But like, I
won't. Yeah, all I'll say is that the story, in my opinion, concludes in an incredibly satisfying way, and they introduce more characters as you go to some of the other planets that are like I think in general all the characters they introduce are really solid.
Saul Guerrero was dope.
Yeah, the Saw Gerrera cameo is great. Well, it's a little more than a cameo. His like role on the Kashyyyk stuff is pretty cool. Like there's a lot that I think ultimately the driving force for me to finish it was to see the story through. And also, like you were saying, when you start using your force powers more, the combat not only gets easier but faster and therefore like less
stressful,
less cumbersome and annoying. You know, like it's not like when towards the beginning of the game, if you walk into a room where there's like 5 or 6 people, you're like, okay, I might not die, but this is gonna like take me a second, and not necessarily the most satisfying way. But as you continue to unlock not just more force powers, but also like saber techniques and stuff, once your options expand, it becomes a situation where you come into a room full of 6 people, and it's the excitement of like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
You know, like I have all these options of how to do this. Like I can throw my lightsaber at this guy, pull this dude near me, stab him. I can do this. I can push these 2 guys off because they're near the ledge. Like, your positioning becomes more like important because it's it's your positioning becomes important both offensively and defensively. Yeah. Whereas like at the beginning of the game, it's like I have to stay away, I have to keep my distance, I have to keep my guard up. So positioning works there, but it's not as satisfying because it's just this like waiting game. But then later on, it's a matter of like, okay, like I can dodge this attack and then get into a position to push these 3 stormtroopers off the ledge, and that's like a really satisfying experience.
I think it also does it like. In that regard, it has a really good pacing of like you turn a corner, and after a while, like once you're dying and then having to replay the same section over and over and over again, you kind of fall into the rhythm of just like, okay, I know dudes there, I know that there are 2 dudes there. There's gonna be someone shooting me here, so if I just like and like once you kind of figure out the order in which to take everyone out, because like I've run into an area where there's like dude with a rocket launcher. But I know that he'll miss his first one, and it's going to take him way too long to reload. So I can kill all these guys before I go up to him, and then like there is like more strategy to it than just like hacking the saber. But honestly, I was most excited for the saber hacking. Like like it's so very clearly not ripping off. Like what's the being influenced by or inspired by? There we go. Like by the Soulsborne type games or whatever. So my expectations for the combat went way too high, I guess. And like it felt good the first few fights, but then after a while I'm just like I don't feel the oomph to it that I wanted. Like everything sounds awesome still. And the
I think
I just need to like
shift
my expectations.
Is a very huge part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't comment much on that because I haven't played any of the Soulsborne games.
And I'm so
a very much
a novice. Don't consider me a pro. Internet. I'm saying.
I don't really have the point of comparison there. To me, I think it does a good job of balancing the weight, like the tension of you need to actually be actively thinking about what you're doing in every fight, even the easiest fights. You have to actually like think about timing stuff. You can't just completely run in and mash the buttons. That said, when it gets to a certain point, you can completely destroy people and feel powerful. And I think it does a good job of balancing both the actual need for your attention and input with feeling like you are so much more powerful than everyone you're fighting. And it builds to it, and it's really that middle section where the combat becomes less of a focus and it's more on the exploring and the kind of dungeon crawling, where it just slows down to such a degree that I think that's like the weakest part of the game. It's for those of you who have played it or are in the process of playing it, it's really the Kashyyyk stuff, and then the return to Zepho when you go there later in the game. And I also know you can do things in a different order. Like I saved Dathomir for pretty much last, and yet that can be your second planet you go to.
Yeah, I remember when we were talking about our playthroughs, like we went to different planets first, and we were just like, wait, what? Like you got the double-bladed lightsaber like super early in, and I'm just like, early, what the fuck? How did it like?
Yeah. And then that's the thing. I definitely want to replay the game, but it needs a new game plus. Not that I don't think I would enjoy going through the process of building the character up again, but I know I would definitely enjoy being able to just kind of tear through the beginning of the game. You know, I mean, I especially because it's not even just a matter of like I would have all the unlocks, but I also like know how to control that version of the character so well, and I feel like I don't want to go completely back to square one. You know. So, also it does the one thing that I don't like a lot of current games that have skill trees doing, where they lock very basic abilities and commands to like, you know, well, maybe an easy point in the skill tree to get to, but still it's like locked behind. Like I don't like when games will like lock a dodge roll like to a point in the skill tree, or like, you know, like just off the top of my head, like the Dying Light, which we were playing together last year for a bit, like I'm pretty sure like the sliding kick is something you have to unlock, and there's like so many of those little things that like when you start getting a lot it feels good, but you just feel so restricted at the beginning, and it almost doesn't really make sense. Like it doesn't like seem to fit to me. Like why wouldn't I already know how to just do a little kick when I'm sliding, which is something I can already do. Like, you know, they with the force powers and Fallen Order, they can explain that a little better, but you know, certain things like why I can't do a little dodging kick at the beginning of the game just doesn't, like when you unlock it, it's just like, okay, cool, this feels like something I should have been able to do from the get, you know?
Yeah, it feels like they ran out of skills and were just like, okay, we got to roll it back a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Like, let's take away some more of his abilities. At least they don't do the thing where you have everything at the beginning and then after the first level, they strip you away from it, which can be annoying. But
I low-key enjoy the... not necessarily an execution, but I like the idea behind that of we are going to show you, like that's, I can't remember the power ceiling. Just like in anime, we're going to show you, like in My Hero, we're going to show you All Might at his strongest and then take him away from you. And like,
and now you know this, your main character is eventually going to get there.
Exactly.
So it's that excitement of, I mean, I'm cool with that in concept, and I think like when it's usually like Metroid Prime, the first one is like my first example of that playing, where you have everything at the beginning and then you get stripped away from you. The difference is it really feels like every time you get an upgrade, it's an upgrade. Whereas in Fallen Order, it's like the story-based upgrades, which are mostly your force powers, feel like that.
It's not like you start complete and then you're building from that. It's like you start incomplete and you're trying to fill the glass.
Okay.